Hi, my name is Michael Dell. I'm a Ganawage Rono living with special needs. When I was interviewed, I had an idea for a show for people from Ganawage living with disabilities. Today is the start of that show, Walk in My World. Often, people with disabilities lead sheltered lives, and their interactions are limited to caregivers and family members. I hope this show will bring you awareness of these people, their families, their lives, and their dreams for the future. This group of very special parents that I'm about to introduce you has to go that one step further because they have a child with a special need. Today with me I have Carrie Patton, Bessie Peltier, Lynn Dybel, Carol Dybel Jacobs, Lynn DeLille. I also have my mother, Lois, who is my primary caregiver. Can you explain to us what your future plans are when you are no longer able to take care of them or are no longer here?
For me, I think for Hayden's, I have a son who's 21 years old. His future plans would be to stay home, to be able to sustain himself in his own house, maybe to have somebody go in and check in on him, make sure that he's okay. Hopefully that will happen in the future. I think that's my future plans for Hayden, is to be independent and be able to stay home.
Well, I have Sarah who will be 30 in December, and just recently I talked to my eldest daughter about what would happen if I wasn't able to take care of Sarah, and she had no problem assuming even that it was going to be her responsibility, of course with the help of all her, the rest of the family. And what I would like to see for Sarah is her to remain in the family, whether it be myself or somebody else, at all, if not possible, in the community. I would like her to continue to be an active participant in the community, and of course there's her have a secure financial future, and to maintain her health. All of those things that the family, my eldest daughter, already knows about. Knowing that I think she would be with family, I am confident that she would be okay in the future.
For Michael and I, we have a plan in place that we already talked about, and we have his older brother that lives in Toronto, but whenever I'm not able to take care of him, he'll be coming in and pitch in and take over where I can't help Michael anymore. Or if I'm not here any longer, then I'm sure he'll pitch in on that too.
I have a 29-year-old daughter. As of right now, I haven't made any plans for her future, and I'm assuming the responsibility will be going over to her older sister. She more than probably would take care of her, but financially, I hope for her stability that it's fine. Basically, she's in good health, but she's totally dependent on everybody for everything. And like I said, I got no plans right now.
I guess would be the same for me. I have a son, Raymond, that's 24 years old. I did discuss a little bit with his older brother and with Raymond, which he would like to go and to be with his older brother. But I don't have any other plans for him. I guess I never really thought about it that much. But that's what my... Pardon? Yeah.
The same for me. I've never made any
Yeah,
plans.
that's all he has is his older brother. There's no one else really that could take care of him.
We're in the same situation because
Yeah.
my Karen has no other siblings other than her older sister, and she has a life of her own. So
Okay. And no one in my family has really ever
I
talked
don't
about
have,
it.
I don't have any other
I
family
guess
members to
maybe
take care of
because
her.
I never did, you know, just to my son.
I have a 30-year-old son who lives with me, and he has a lot of needs. So he is, you know, he has some independence, but generally he's very dependent on somebody to be a caregiver for him. He has an older sister who, you know, we talk about it. We haven't put any concrete plans down, but we just haven't figured out how he's gonna be supported in that situation, because it would require 24-hour care, and I can't see putting my daughter in that position. She has young children. Maybe when they grew up she could, but not at this time. And he would not like to live with young children, so I have to figure a way how he can be supported to live in this community. Because if we don't do that and something happens to me suddenly, you know, I don't like to see what would happen to him, because if I don't have anything set up, more than likely he would not be able to be maintained at this time in his own home, because the community does not allow for 24-hour care, which he requires. So that's something I have to work around at this time.
You have mentioned that you want to keep your loved ones in the community. Have you written your wishes down so that they are followed?
Not at this time, but I am in the process of making a will, but that wouldn't be in the will, because that type of thing you have to, I guess, you have to look more into how you appoint a person as a guardian, because I don't think you can do that through a will. But that's something parents have to look at, to make sure that they do all the legal things to make sure that their child is protected.
Community services should know a lot about it, because they take care of foster children. And they need to have, you know, the medical, and when the parents are not available. And in terms of the guardians, you know, to what extent are they legally responsible for anything for a child, or even maybe a teenager. So I think they know a lot about that, and I would call them a social worker, or the community services first, to see what information they have. And I would think that there's others in the community before
what would you
us
ask
that
a
know.
social worker though?
Anybody, just call and ask. So you're interested in finding out about your, you know, be specific about your need. And I'm sure there's others in the community that have had done it. I would imagine. I don't know, but already I've had the experience. The independent living. I mean, they're older people, and I know there
Older
was
adults, yeah.
Yeah, and there was some. I know one girl who had took care of 2 of her family members there, and you know that had to have been done too legally too. So I think they might know.
So when you, when you appoint somebody, like later on, Michael's brother would be taking care of him, that has to be written down?
I have no idea.
Oh, you have no idea?
I would think.
Oh,
I'm
sure,
sure it would
Well,
have to be.
Michael's quite capable of making, I think, the decisions.
Oh no,
on
he's
his
capable of
own
making his
about
own
it.
decisions and all that.
But
Yeah.
when you got the ones that can't make
Yeah.
decisions for
Yeah.
themselves, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as far as like for me keeping them in the community, I think Carrie mentioned it before. I mean, we're talking about legality of something, and what laws are applied in our community. You know, because I think if it's provincial, the province makes a decision about what's the best place maybe for our children. It might not be in the community. So there's some work that needs to be done about that. You know, because you know I had intended for Sarah to be under the care of my daughter, but what if something happens suddenly along the, you know, in the future to my daughter, or whatever circumstances are just that maybe she would have to be sent outside. I would be, I would not want that to ever have to happen. So maybe something
Well,
here
like that with your son,
Yeah,
that lives in
yeah.
Toronto. He's gonna be like back and forth here.
Oh
but
no,
like,
he's moving here.
but I was gonna say with the different provinces, you know. like,
Yeah, that too.
maybe
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want him to go live in
Oh
Ontario.
no, he's not going to live there.
Yeah.
No, he's coming here to live.
You have mentioned that you wanted to keep your loved ones at home as long as possible. What would your needs be in order to do that?
We'll definitely need, you know, some respite in order to keep on going. If you don't get any breaks to recharge your batteries to go on and keep doing it, you won't be able to, you know, to do it for too many years.
What kind of respite care are we talking about? Are we talking about a hospital or a home setting?
A home setting, I would say, would be.
And for me too, it's, you know, fortunately Sarah doesn't have, you know, she's doing very well, but I get really, really tired, you know, of just organizing every day. You know, even when it's to set up respite or a vacation, it's a lot of organization, and many times I just say, oh, it's too hard, you know, to organize people to take care of her and to set up, you know, what is supper time, bath time, who's going to be here, and what does she do, scheduling, and like I said, even more so if I'm going to try to take a day off or go somewhere for a weekend or going for a week, which I haven't for about 5 years. So I just say, well, it's too hard. So it's tiresome just doing what we do. And as every day we get older, or, you know, the arthritis sets in, or, you know, you get more fatigued easier. All of it becomes just really, really hard. And fortunately, in my case, I have great home care workers, and they do their best. But, you know, I always feel that I'm extending my energy to worry about what's going on. I mean, in your mind, your mental health, I think, suffers a lot all the time. You don't ever, you know, not think of your child, and no matter what you do, it's not easy just to get up and go out to a restaurant. Sometimes you can't. And this is one of the things that I talked with my daughter, who will care for Sarah in the future. I said, well, how do you feel about this? What do you think it's going to be like? And she said, it's like having a new baby. You're totally change, you know, and it's 24-hour care, learning how they are, you know, getting used to what their habits are and how they communicate. So it's rough. It's rough for us. It's getting harder. And it will be hard for the ones who, you know, all of a sudden have to do this.
But wouldn't you want it to be made that it's not so rough for them to have to do it? You know, that they had a good support for, you know, if you can get supported well, then your child, then you know that whoever's a caregiver will get that same support, so maybe they will be willing to do it and able to do it. But if it's so rough for you, it's not going to be, you know, you might not be interested in doing it. That's because not everybody is willing to be the 200+ pound baby. You know, do that kind of work. You know,
so true. You know, I know a lot of people in the community who are special needs and are, you know, quite capable of making decisions for themselves, and they are having a hard time with what's available in our own community. You know, for instance, well, I have a cousin who, you know, handicapped, and she has no handicap parking where she works. Just those things. So there's a lot to be done in our community. As a parent, I just tend to take things on as they come. You know, if it's more work, then I do it. If it's more time, then I do it. You know, I don't ask for anybody. I just, you know, you just normally do it, or it doesn't get done. So, you know, it would be an idea, I guess. Well, actually, I do have a home care worker who says, why don't I come here at 7 o'clock in the morning and do that for you one day? I said, really? You know, never thought of it. You just take it on. You just take it on. So there has to be an awareness, I guess, for parents, us, that it's quite possible that the everyday things that we take for granted that we have to do, maybe we don't have to anymore. And like you said, Kara, I think there should be somebody there to take up that time you know, and I have no idea how we would be able to go about that right now.
So what do you have, like, you're talking about home care worker. You have that every day or?
Almost every day.
Almost
Yeah.
every day, yeah.
Yeah.
On weekends as well?
No, not at all. No.
So you do
Just
that-
8:30 to 3:30, 3 times a week. That's it, you know. And I have never asked in years for any respite at all, because you know, Sarah, people, if an adult is in the house and she's in her, you know, for an hour, I can go,
Mhm.
and that's what I do. That's about it. So, like I said, if I want to do anything else,
If you want to do anything,
yeah,
it's
so-
like even with Michael too. I'm not going to stand up and walk out the door. I still have to.
I
make
have
arrangements
respite
for-
services too, but that's far and few between times, you know. It's just not enough. It's not enough anymore. As I work 5 days a week, 40 hours a week. So I says, my husband's getting older too, and he can't cope either. You know, we're noticing it. So.
Gee, it's almost like when we're not able to take care of them, it sounds like maybe some of us are right at that time. You know, but even for Sarah, well, my eldest Sarah, well, you gotta come and move in with me because Sarah's not going anywhere. You know, so
Well, even my grandson.
it's hard. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, my grandson just last year told me when he was talking about people that live on the streets in the city. He asked me how do they get there, and all I told him because they don't have their family, their community, they come from a different place, and that. I said, you don't know why those people got there. They could have a mental illness, they could be, you know, like have a disability, whatever, and no one to take care of them. And he told me, he goes, well, that's not going to happen to us. He goes, we're always going to take care of him. You know, I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's what he told me.
I think it matters that we're from this community, because we all, like, I made sure, and I think Carrie too, we made sure our kids went to school here, tried very hard for that to happen, so people know them. And, you know, it's a responsibility as a community member that, you know, to help out, I hope. I think so. I have faith in the community, so they better.
Yeah. But like unless it happens in your family, nobody really realizes what the needs are and all the things that you have to do. And I don't know if you've been watching on TV, they talk about the visioning group and all that. Well, I think we need to develop a vision for what the community would look like for our children in the future.
For handicapped adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean all people that, you know.
Yeah,
All the,
but mostly
yeah.
set something in motion in place for these as they get older. They get older when they're our age. Like, who's gonna care for them? Like, is there gonna be a facility there? You know.
No, but if we talk about like to develop our vision, what we want to see our community be for our children when we're not here, you know, like we have to start talking about that, and I don't think we have, you know, like everybody has their own individual things, but it's not out there, you know, so how do we get to our community to have that vision for our children, you know, because we can't make it on our own. We have to have, you know, like the community has to be involved in that, not just us, you know.
Bess, I just want to ask you, Hayden's been out of the community.
He's been out of the community, but he's still well known in the community. Like, people see him, they remember him as a kid, and they're like, "Oh my God, you know, Hayden, you grew," or something. But Hayden's very independent. He does his own thing. He can stay alone all day. He's very self-supportive, you know. The part that Hayden is lacking is when the finance part, like he knows money, but he doesn't know things have to be paid, or he knows to eat and he knows what to cook, but you know, he still needs like some supervision. He's not one that could just be left alone or whatever. So, and to go just to go to Plattsburgh for a day is a chore, because I got to make sure somebody's there to make sure he's eating. He's gonna eat lunch. I mean, I know he'll eat lunch if there's junk or something. Not that there's junk in the food in the house, but he'll make a sandwich or at any time. Or, you know, just it's not. I can't just go with my friends and say, okay, going to Plattsburgh. I gotta make sure somebody's there at lunch, somebody's there at supper, somebody. It's such a challenge to go away and just enjoy. And then the time you're away, you're thinking, okay, are they there? Are they okay?
Yeah. Calling all the time.
So it's like constantly on your mind whether you're there or you're not there. It's just a worry that's constantly there. It would be nice just to worry and just to be able to
Well,
do
I don't
something.
worry as much. Me, Raymond is, I don't know, he seems more independent. He's quiet and I can leave him, but not like for a weekend,
That's
maybe
it.
for a day. But I
Yeah.
do call him, you
Yeah.
know, to say, did you eat?
Yeah.
But he's used to using the microwave. I don't let him use the stove.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that he's gonna not turn it off.
Mhm.
So I buy a lot of things that he can microwave, but he doesn't eat a lot.
Mm.
You know, he doesn't.
He did the opposite.
He lives on peanut butter. Peanut butter in a V8. But he can help himself a lot. I guess I don't worry as much as you do. You know?
Well,
It's
you're
different.
lucky that you have the ones that are dependent, are
Yeah.
independent,
Yeah.
you know.
So you don't require
But you
this.
have ones that need to, like Carrie, she's
Yeah.
24 hours assistance,
Yeah.
like I do. I need 24 hours
Sup-
assistance, you know, like,
yeah.
like, you know,
Supervision, yeah, someone.
Mm.
it's not
I
easy.
guess everyone has different
Yeah.
needs.
Yeah. Once she's at the program, when she goes home,
Mm-hmm.
you have to take care of her.
Well, her father's
Her
there,
father,
so
yeah.
takes care of her, yeah. He's mostly her caregiver while I go to work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm her caregiver on weekends.
I'm lucky I have my son that stays, one son that stays with me.
Yeah.
And he's really great. Like if I'm going out one night or something, like, because I don't like to, I mean, Hayden could stay home alone. But I don't, if I'm going to go to a dance or something, I don't like to leave him during the night alone. I mean, I don't know what could happen,
sure.
you know? So if I need a night to go out, like my other son will stay home and he'll stay with him so that there's always somebody at night with him, either myself or my other son. So
You get to go out.
I get to go out, yes, I do. I'm one of the lucky ones, I have to.
Yeah, me too.
With Hayden, you know, I'm really lucky, but there's still those little worries of,
Okay.
you know, he still needs that little somebody to kind of oversee some stuff, you know.
Yeah.
He can't be left. He's never gonna have like a job like everybody else and be independent and totally independent. He'll always need that little
not
help.
totally independent.
Would you like that respite home to be in the community? Where they could go for like respite weekends, but not a place to move in permanently.
Well, I think it's something we were just talking about, that we would like to see some kind of respite home developed on the reserve. Like in that way we can make plans for the future that whoever is going to take care of them would be assured that they would be getting proper respite and they would be willing to take care of them. Because right now my son, the only respite we find is out of the community. I mean, it's good, but I would prefer it to be home,
Yeah.
at home.
You've talked about what it takes to plan a small outing. Have you thought about the benefits of networking?
I thought that, you know, community services there's a person in charge of Sarah. She has a social worker involved to a little bit of time there, but also a person in charge of attending to her home care worker. And I assume that, you know, these people, the bosses of the home care workers, were in touch with what was happening in our homes, and maybe would be able to assess the need at that level. But I know everywhere and here too that parents need to get involved, you know, to make sure that whatever is decided is good for our kids and that it actually does get done. I certainly would be interested. It's just difficult to spend another hour and a full 24-hour day doing something else. So, but I am in communication. Whenever I see Bessie or anybody, you know, we share and we talk about what our needs are and how things are going. I don't know how many times Bessie and Gary especially.
And if you had all the added services, what would you do with your time?
Have a nap.
You would probably worry because you would say, well, geez, I got all this extra time on my hands, but no. First thing you would probably do is you probably worry what's going on with the situation I just left.
Yeah, I've never thought of ever having a worry-free hour in any day when it comes to Sarah. It's funny how I thought of, you know, if she was going for respite or independent living somewhere else or assisted living somewhere else, because my other children have gone off, left the nest and moved on and have children on their own. I don't worry so much about, oh my goodness, did they have their supper or what are they doing? You know, and I find it, I can't believe that I would ever not worry about Sarah, even if she had the best of everything. Yeah, everything ideally, you know. So yeah, you're right. I would still have, I'd be sitting at home worrying about her.
I guess we're gonna worry all
I
our
mean-
life.
I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
It's a lifetime commitment.
no matter what.
No, you
No matter
can't-
what.
Yeah,
No matter what,
yeah,
we're
there's no
gonna
way we
worry.
can get out
Yeah,
of this
we're all gonna worry.
responsibility. Yeah. It's a
It's a
responsibility.
lifetime of
Never goes away.
responsibility, yes.
Never goes away, no matter what you do. Yeah, and it's just a fact.
you're gonna worry you worry from the day that they were born to the day that they die.
That's right.
I know you don't want to think about that, but it is true because you gotta worry about almost you've had to worry about all their life, and unfortunately, you're gonna have to worry about that too. And hopefully, you don't get sick worrying about all these plans and what's gonna happen. What message would you like to leave for the community? After being here this evening and talking this out, because it's been really difficult, even for me, to hear you talk about all this.
Well, I would like the community to know that I appreciate that Tommy has been able to live in this community and they've been welcoming to him. And he's participated in a lot of things in this community, and he enjoys it, and this is where his home is. In other communities that doesn't happen, you know, like here. So I just want the community to know I appreciate that he is part of it.
Yeah, I'm saying here exactly what Carrie said. Very, very thankful for Sarah being able to remain and be with me in my home with a lot of help from the community. So thank you so much.
I guess we all have the same
Thoughts?
thoughts,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're all grateful.
We're all grateful for
The community that we live in.
Yes.
How did you feel about coming here and getting to talk? Are you gonna go home and do things that you need to do now?
Well, I think I'm gonna go home and put it on paper, start putting things more formal, because it's always just been in my head. I haven't done anything formal.
Yeah, I think I'll start doing research on what's curator and what he would need for his future to secure funding and.
Well, you don't want to do the wrong thing.
Yeah, I need to
Yeah.
research that, and I think that's something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start just asking questions
Yeah, it's something to think about.
and look at.
Me too, right
I do
now.
think about it, but I don't know.
Because it goes out of your head.
Yeah,
Like me.
yeah.
It's always at the back of my
Maybe we
head, but
just don't
I
wanna.
never do anything about it.
That would be one thing to talk with their social or for support worker
Yeah.
with and have them, you talk, they write.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, really.
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, you know, it'd be like a brainstorm. But one thing about this
Well-
today is that hopefully it'd be helpful because I know, being involved with special needs people all my life and still, that there are a lot of other young families, you know, coming up that have a lot of special needs children, and hopefully it'll get to
There
this
always
kind of
will be.
thing before we've finally got to it. So hopefully it was helpful to.
So
to them.
you feel in some aspects we've only scratched the surface?
I would hope that others after us young ones have already thought of this and, you know, made their plans already, but I don't know.
Thank you for all being here today, and I hope you really do go home and put those plans on paper, because you just never know. Well, we've come to the end of our last episode of Walk in My World. I hope you really enjoyed it. And if you have any comments or questions, you can email me at walkinmyworld@yahoo.ca. We would really like to hear from you. Ona. Can you explain to us what PLAN is?
The PLAN organization is something that was developed in Vancouver from parents of children with special needs. And the idea was to create a network of individuals from within the family, but also the extended family and the community that would spend time with an individual or take some time to share part of their lives. And the idea was to create a network so that the primary caregivers and their families are not left alone to do all of the care. In addition to that, it was born out of the fear of some parents of what happens to my child once I die. Who is going to take care of them? In some instances, it's been absolutely wonderful that the networks have been able to provide a fairly independent life for the individual after the primary caregiver dies.
These people that are involved, are they paid positions?
No, they're not. Actually, most of it, all of it is volunteer. The only paid position is an individual who becomes a community network resource person who helps to set up the networks. Apart from that, individuals volunteer a little bit of their time. It's not a lot of time. For example, when an individual was profiled, it was shown that he had an interest in trains, had a love for trains. And someone in a neighboring community had heard of this and said, well, I work with the trains. Why can't he come and spend some time with me on the trains? And so he got a train ride, and that made his day. It was a wonderful experience for him, and so that did not take an incredible amount of time, nor was it a continuous thing that would always happen.
How would somebody get involved with one of these networks?
It takes simply a will to share an interest, and to get to know the individuals within the community who have special needs.
Would these people be able to come and, I don't know, if the parents were going away, would they cover the weekend?
No, not necessarily. That's not the whole point of the networking.
Okay.
The networking is basically to create a system of friends and contacts outside of the primary caregivers where you can share experiences and have real life experiences. It's to break the isolation
of the person that's got the disability, and for him to bring more people into his life.
Right, and in addition to that is that if as the primary caregiver gets older and has less ability to take care of their child, then there are other people who are there as resources to help out. So that if the person dies, then they can also be assured that their child will be taken care of by a network of individuals. They are real friends. They basically become real friends.
Do you think this network will work in Ganawage?
More than anywhere else, I think this is something that can function here. Time and time again, we've seen in a period of crisis where individuals have come together and have shared common experiences and have helped out. And the sense of community is there, and I think that it would be a wonderful thing to see developed here, and I'm sure that it would be very successful in whatever form it takes.